Las Vegas Raiders on the road at the Indianapolis Colts. As we sit right now, this has moved back to 7. And when I say back to 7, because this was the COVID game of the week. The news came through that Carson Wentz, that we know is unvaccinated, and this was a big storyline coming into the season. He was unvaccinated, and he finally ended up getting it, and he got moved to the COVID list. That said, later that day, the COVID protocols for the NFL changed, and in theory, he would be able to be back and play this week if he were to be showing unsymptomatic after the 5 days that he is required to be away from the team. This is a 7-point spread in favor of the Colts, a 44.5. The spread is set as if Carson Wentz is going to play in this game. And I know this, Stephen, because the Carson Wentz news came and this number fell to 1.5, in which I took the Colts at 1.5. So I am living on the island of CLV right now, guys. I know you're envious of me. Maybe. Yes, that I'm. Yeah, well, yeah, we shall see. As we record this right now, I'm going to go buy me a Ferrari with all the CLV that I've got, because you know how that works. Like CLV is like betting gold with everything. But in all seriousness, my handicap from that point. And Stephen, I know we're on the opposite sides here, so I'll get yours. But my handicap from that point was at 1.5. I'm not handicapping the Colts based off what Carson Wentz brings to the table anyway, right? So like I'm at that point, I'm more looking at, okay, 1.5. Can they barely squeak out a win here by just riding Jonathan Taylor and that good defense over and over and over and over again? That's how that changes for me. The calculus changed when it went down to 1.5. Now it jumped back up to 6.5, has now climbed back to 7. And you were able to get into even better number on the Raiders.
I was, yeah. Before all of the COVID news, I actually bet the Raiders very early this week at +8. I was just of the opinion that more than a touchdown was too much in this game. And I love the Colts. I love their postseason prospects. I just thought that was a bit too much. So as we sit here now, obviously, Matt, I think you hit the nail on the head pretty well. If there's clearly optimism based on the line movement that Carson Wentz is going to clear the protocols and play in this game. If he does, it wouldn't shock me if this gets back up to 7.5 and maybe all the way back to the 8. If he doesn't, we're going to get all the way back down to your 2 minus 1.5, and your CLV is going to go out the window. So I mean, we'll see if he does actually clear. There's clearly optimism. Other than Wentz, their right tackle, Braden Smith, is still on the COVID list, so we'll see if he clears. And their left tackle, Eric Fisher, has had back-to-back DNPs in practice this week, so he might not play completely irregardless of any COVID situation. That's concerning against a Raiders front four on defense that's top 12 in pressure rate, top 10 in pass rush win rate, despite being dead last in blitz rate. And devil's advocate argument is, well, the Colts run the ball. Well, the Raiders are also top 10 in run stop win rate against this Jonathan Taylor offense this week. So to me, the question to whether I want to back that number where it's at right now is can the Raiders score enough? In the last 3 weeks, believe it or not, Vegas has been 4th in success rate. Derek Carr has been 7th in dropback success rate. They've just been outside the top 20 in EPA and dropback EPA. So they're not getting explosive chunk plays. So if they're moving the ball, I think they can at least cover this number. I mean, the Colts are beatable through the air. They're 31st in pressure rate on defense. They're outside the top 10 in pass DVOA, and also outside the top 10 in PFF grade. So long story short, I just thought the number was too big. I think anything more than a touchdown here, I'm going to back the Raiders.
Yeah, I think a full touchdown might be a little much here, Brad. But when you look, I mean, the Raiders, without Darren Waller now for the rest of the season, they've gone ahead and shut him on down. And without him on this offense, this Raiders offense is basically like Miami Dolphins light, right? I mean, this is just this kind of what they do. They dink and dunk it down the field. There's no explosive plays to speak of whatsoever. So you almost have to run perfectly. You have to run so incredibly pure, because when you're only getting a few yards at a time, when you don't get one of those little dink and dunk passes to work, well, you're punting the ball away. And so this Colts defense has certainly shown up here over the last 2 months of the season. And I definitely like the Colts to win. I think I like the Colts to win even if Sam Ehlinger has to go. But I would certainly at that point not be laying the 7. I think the danger here in laying any number with the Colts, even if you want to play them in a teaser or whatever it might be, is the fact that Wentz might not go, and this number is going to to plummet drastically. So I guess my thing would be, if you like the Raiders, taking the 7 now possibly is something I would look to be doing, just to have that 7 in my pocket. If you like the Colts, I think I'd probably hold out here, because again, we just don't know that this Carson Wentz situation is going to work itself out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think at the number it is now at 7, I think you've got to take the Raiders, because you're getting basically a half-point discount from what it was before for the chance that Wentz doesn't clear, and he's not vaccinated, so there is a good chance he is symptomatic and can't go, and B, the fact that he might not be himself because he's had COVID, right, and he's not had any protection, so it might have an impact on him. Now, if he is ruled out and it goes down to 1.5 again, I'll be back on the Colts like you, because I don't think Carson Wentz is worth 5 points, surely. Like, he's not that good. The rest of the Colts team is good. The offensive line, the coaching is good. Robbie Greer actually had quite some interesting research this week. He's a good follow on Twitter, basically showing that good quarterbacks or good schemes, when that starting quarterback goes out, they cover the spread, because it's actually more about the scheme and the surrounding parts rather than just the quarterback itself. So we overemphasize how good a good quarterback is, when it actually is a lot of the supporting cast, which might be the case here. So yeah, that's what I do. Raiders now, or if Wentz doesn't go, Colts minus 2.5, 1.5.
Yeah, I like that as well. And guys, hopefully you understand why we're giving you multiple scenarios in these games, because there's just multiple things that could end up happening throughout the course of these games. And so, giving you the different views here, hopefully gives you some perspective whenever everything starts to clear up a little bit. Anytime between now and that's the other thing too, is like this could happen anytime between now and Sunday as well. So that's something that we're trying to figure out along the way, as well as when these guys might actually start getting cleared, when they might start coming off of this list. So we're navigating it along with you here.